You want me to start off?
Sure.
Okay. I found out Sunday, there's a lot of interest in this. I guess first thing I want to do is kind of look at this sub-agreement and ask Ken, I guess, how do you personally guarantee something like this?
I didn't.
Huh?
I said I didn't.
You didn't.
Like you would any obligation, if you go to the bank and you attempt to borrow money in a corporate form or a limited liability company form, the bank is going to say to you, here are the loan documents, and then here is the guarantee where you're going to sign personally as Donald rather than the company. And in essence, this is kind of belt and suspenders and just getting Autumn on the hook for the same obligations that the company committed to.
And if she doesn't get a positive resolution to this lawsuit and we give her the money, then how do we get the money back?
It's a good question. The obligation to repay is in the agreement, whether or not it's like any contract. Donald, if you and I have an agreement for I'm supposed to do something for you and I don't do it, you can chase me around, sue me, whatever. But I mean, we're not a secured. This isn't a secured agreement. We don't have a mortgage. There's
no collateral.
It is what it is.
That's right.
It has the inherent risk of non-performance, and then whether or not you can collect it. But that's inherent with all of the agreements.
Why couldn't we put in here requiring a line of credit from a bank?
If the board wanted to take that up and do something like that, Donald, that is up for discussion. This is what, after speaking with Autumn, this is what Bill and I came up with as a way to just further protect the IDA. If the board wants to go there with a different idea, anything is game, I suppose.
Okay. Well, I guess I really don't understand what this thing is here. So I got probably a stupid question here. What have we done as a board for her to hold us harmless?
None of that is language that you'll find in any release, indemnification provision. Hold harmless means it's to the extent someone asserts a claim against us, she is going to prevent the harm from attaching to it. Harmless. It's part of an indemnification provision.
Well, to me, my concern would be the plaintiff. Is the plaintiff going to hold us harmless?
What I have learned over the last several years, Donald, is anybody can allege anything. I have learned that in a way that even as a lawyer I never really realized. You know, free speech, people have alleged all sorts of things, and I look at this, and after speaking to counsel and after speaking to Autumn about it, I believe that what exists is not likely to succeed on its merits, and that's just my assessment of it.
Well, I hope you're correct. But our job as a board is to do our best, in my opinion, is to protect this money, protect the citizens' money. And we need to be prudent about this, in my opinion.
That's what's up for discussion.
I mean, I think that's why we're having the conversation. The concern was brought to the board, and so, we have some language that may pertain to that in the existing sub-grant agreement, but I think that the desire was to strengthen that language to include this with more specificity and to outline that, that Autumn or Stream to Sea would be held liable or responsible and not the IDA. Now that does not prevent the company from making claims against the IDA, but that's why we're taking these steps to ensure that we have documented in our agreement that that does not involve the IDA or the EDC.
Okay. Have you talked to the commissioners about this?
Have I talked
Well,
to the
you're the
commissioners
chair,
about this?
yeah.
No, I have not.
You haven't, so you don't know whether they support this or not.
Well, I mean, it's not really the commissioner's decision. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, but this is, this is the responsibility of our board. If we have any issue that we feel like needs to be outlined, and I know that you've been a big supporter and an advocate for us strengthening contracts to include things that
Absolutely.
you feel like will, create an issue. So that's what we're trying to do.
Well, my opinion is that commissioners are ultimately responsible for this board. But anyway, have you talked to David Royal about it?
What's his relationship to the?
It's the EDA, that's where we got this money.
I have not talked to David Royal about this project.
Okay, I'll go on. Well-
David's here though, I mean, I'm sure he can.
If it's EDA money,
Mm-hmm.
okay? One of the things we could do is send this grant back to them for direction on what to do in this case. It's their money. All we do is administer this money. And what they do, and they've done it in the past, and they still do it, is they dump these things on us. And then we have to come up with problems like this, and then we get the heat from the community on this thing. We're the ones taking the heat, not the EDA. So, maybe we can send it back to them and let them decide what to do.
This matter will be addressed by the EDA. I know that Lex intends to agenda it. I don't know, David is here, he can speak for himself, whether or not they're gonna call a special meeting to discuss it, but the EDA will address this issue.
Yeah. But if we approve it, if this board approves it, they're gonna follow what we do. Because they're gonna dump it on us. Let me move
Well,
on.
but if this is a measure to strengthen what we already have in place, wouldn't
Well-
that be wouldn't that be a good step for them to follow?
I don't think this agreement will hold water. I think it's totally useless. All right, let me move on.
Well, why do you say that?
This does not guarantee that she would pay the money back if it didn't go her way.
No,
It says personally, but you can't make somebody pay something they don't have.
No, but you have a right to legally pursue that. Well, everything that she owns would be subject to the IDA.
Not if she declares bankruptcy.
Well, if she declares bankruptcy, if she has assets, those assets would be applicable to this. It's now a note. It's more like a loan than a grant.
Well, why can't we protect the people's money until there's a positive resolution with this?
No, that could take 5 years. I mean,
It could.
the issue.
It could.
The issue that the board has to discuss and address is, if you allow the assertion of an allegation to basically shut down the grant, you are making the determination that you're basically, when you stop funding, what are you doing to the money that's already been dispersed over the first year's grant? I mean, is it just wasted?
Well,
What do you do?
Well, I'm a little teased about the fact that this thing come out in January, this lawsuit, and we just now found about it last month. And I'm just curious if there's people around this county that knew about that and did not bring it to this board.
I can tell you I did not.
I know you said that last meeting.
I did not.
And, well, I got one more question, I guess. Probably about a year ago, I asked, was this board bonded? And Ken, you said you would check on it and get back with us. So are we bonded as a board?
If you guys, when you came on, if you executed a bond, it's a piece of paper. I don't honestly know. I have not looked.
Okay, thank you. I think that's all.